William Bendix, Blundering, Brilliance, a retrospective of the Hollywood Everyman. William Bendix, born in 1906, began his career in the 1930s and found fame in the 1940s. Bendix played lovable, good-natured, but somewhat bumbling characters who were often caught in comedic or challenging circumstances. His character was often taken advantage of by more sophisticated and conniving characters. Bendix was also adept at playing tough guy characters because of his broad shoulders, large stature, and menacing looks. Bendix's everyman persona was a refreshing contrast to the more glamorous stars of the era, making him a beloved figure in classic movies. Here, we review the 10 most memorable performances from different television shows and film roles in the life of William Bendix. 1. Gus in Lifeboat, 1944. In Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, Bendix's portrayal of Gus, a wounded seaman whose compromised situation added a layer of struggle to this survival drama. Lifeboat is set entirely in a lifeboat adrift in the North Atlantic during World War II, following a ship sinking by a German U-boat. The film is a study in character development and tension, as survivors from different walks of life are thrown together in a desperate struggle for survival. Bendix portrays Gus Smith, a merchant marine whose simple thoughts and actions are in stark contrast to the more outlandish and volatile characters in the film. The film is remembered as a thriller that takes place all in one set with a limited budget, and it showed that Hitchcock could produce a masterpiece no matter what the studio constraints were. 2. Buzz in The Blue Dahlia, 1946. William Bendix delivered a memorable performance as Buzz, a war veteran struggling with brain damage. This film noir starred Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake, the third of 4 films they made together. Bendix's character Buzz is grappling with the consequences of a war injury, including a steel plate in his head, which leads to episodes of confusion and disorientation. However, the potential knowledge he may have about what happened at the scene of the crime becomes essential to the plot. He is an ancillary figure in the plot until he realizes he knows something but struggles to communicate what he knows.
If you think we're going to help you tie a murder to a guy who's flown us through 112 missions, you're off your nut.
His bumbling struggle to gain control of his memory stands out as a memorable performance. 3. Lou in Detective Story, 1951. William Bendix's performance in the 1951 film Detective Story delves into the lives of various characters in a single day at a New York City police precinct. The film provides a raw, unfiltered look at urban life and situations faced by law enforcement officers. His portrayal of Brody was a departure from the comedic roles he was known for. In Detective Story, Bendix showcased his ability to tackle more serious, gritty roles. Detective Lou Brody is not a stereotypical police officer. Instead, he has as a spirit of the law philosophy who allows for leniency and restraint on occasion. He stands out in stark contrast to Kirk Douglas's character, who employs a heavy-handed, letter-of-the-law approach to people. The film explores the thin line between right and wrong and the personal costs that can develop with a strict interpretation of the law. The film received several Academy Award nominations, a testament to its quality and the performances of its cast, including Bendix. 4. Jeff in The Glass Key, 1942. Bendix plays the role of Jeff, a thug, a hired hand to do the dirty work. Bendix's Jeff is remembered for his homoerotic undertones in his interactions with Ed Beaumont, played by Alan Ladd. The film follows the story of Ed Beaumont, who is trying to protect his boss and political player from a murder accusation. This noir classic has an intricate plot filled with political corruption, murder, and romantic complications. Janet, the daughter of a wealthy industrialist, is played by Veronica Lake. One of the most memorable scenes in the movie involves Bendix's character brutally beating Ed Beaumont, Alan Ladd. This scene stands out for its intense physicality and is considered shocking even by today's standards. The dynamic between Bendix and Ladd is a key element of the film, especially the creepy and sadistic yearnings of Bendix's character Jeff toward Ladd, adding scandalous intrigue to the gritty narrative. The Glass Key is celebrated by a fast-paced style with snappy dialogue and complex character motivations, making the film a shining example of film noir, a menacing and unsettling film enhanced with its dark and suspenseful atmosphere. 5. Vincent in The Big Steal, 1949. William Bendix is a military captain on the hunt to catch a brazen thief in this fast-paced, romantic crime thriller. The movie is a departure from the dark, gritty style typical of film noir, instead presenting a more light-hearted and entertaining chase film. U.S. Army Lieutenant Duke Halliday, played by Robert Mitchum, was framed by a crooked businessman, Jim Fisk. Duke teams up with Jim's ex-wife, Joan Graham, played by Jane Greer. Bendix is determined to catch Duke and retrieve the stolen funds and chases Duke all throughout Mexico. His tough guy personality and intense pursuit creates a taut thriller with long car chase sequences through Mexico and a physical confrontation. Bendix, with his broad shoulders and big frame, is the perfect fit for this tough guy, no-nonsense role. 6. Chester A. Riley in The Life of Riley. The popular TV series started out as a radio comedy broadcast and was later turned into a long-running TV show in the 1950s. As Chester A. Riley, Bendix became synonymous with the lovable, bumbling family man. His portrayal in The Life of Riley of a well-intentioned but often simple-minded aircraft plant worker left audiences laughing at his candor and innocuous personality. His frequent exclamation of, "What a revolting development this is," was one of the most popular catchphrases of the era. Although he stumbles and bumbles through various life situations, and his clueless personality sometimes leads to great words of wisdom. 7. Smitty in Wake Island, 1942. Williams' role as Private Smitty Smith in Wake Island brought a realistic touch to this war film, earning him an Academy Award nomination. Wake Island is a dramatized retelling of the real-life valiant stand of American servicemen against the Japanese assault on Wake Island in December 1941, shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor. His portrayal of a tough yet tender-hearted Marine was both touching and relatable. His character was not a stereotypical war hero. Instead, he was portrayed as a regular person with fears and hopes who was thrust into an extraordinary situation. The film itself received critical acclaim and was nominated for several Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Bendix's role was instrumental in earning the film its reputation as a powerful war drama. 8. Stauffer, a.k.a. Fred Foss, in The Dark Corner, 1946. In The Dark Corner, 1946, William Bendix delivers another tough guy performance as the hitman and muscle named Stauffer, also known as Fred Foss. Art gallery owner Hardy Cathcart, played by Clifton Webb, has a secret obsession, and so he frames investigator Bradford Galt, portrayed by Mark Stevens. Bradford Galt races against shady figures, and the clock, as his arrest, appears to be imminent. Lucille Ball plays Kathleen, Galt's loyal secretary, who in a rare dramatic role helps assist him in unraveling the mystery. The film has striking noir scenes. One notable moment involves Bendix's character lying in wait in a darkened apartment, a scene that exemplifies the genre's atmospheric tension. Bendix's role adds a layer of grit and intensity to this crime thriller. 9. Van Morgan, in Crash Out, 1955. Van Morgan Duff is a convict who leads a large-scale prison break. The story follows 6 escaped convicts as they embark on a dangerous journey to retrieve hidden stolen bank loot. The film was produced by Ida Lupino's film company. Bendix's character, Van Morgan Duff, is the strong and determined leader of the breakout, who is also severely wounded during the prison escape. Despite his injury, Duff is a resilient and commanding presence, determined to reach the hidden money. The convicts struggle for survival and freedom, and violent interactions with various characters they meet along their journey make the film a standout. The ruthless men steal, take hostages, and kill as they move toward their individual fates in this tense and gritty, atmospheric film. 10. George Herman, Babe Ruth in The Babe Ruth Story, 1948. In The Babe Ruth Story, Bendix's portrayal of the legendary baseball player was earnest and heartfelt. He captured the essence of Ruth, balancing the sports hero's bravado with a sense of respect. Bendix himself was a passionate baseball fan and, as a kid, was a bat boy for the New York Yankees. He said that he personally witnessed Ruth hit over 100 home runs at Yankee Stadium. Because of his childhood experiences, Bendix brought a unique personal enthusiasm to the role. His portrayal of Babe Ruth was less about mimicking the baseball legend's physicality or athletic prowess, and more focused on capturing the spirit and larger-than-life personality of the man. The movie conveyed Ruth's love for the game, his boisterous personality, and his generous nature, particularly in scenes involving children. The movie, however, is seen by many as an inaccurate portrayal of Babe Ruth, a movie which fails to show the work ethic and skill displayed by which Ruth on the baseball field, and painted him in a positive light, avoiding the portrayal of his many scandals. So there you have it. Through these 10 films, William Bendix showcased an extraordinary range, moving seamlessly from comedy to drama, from the everyman to working-class characters. His blundering brilliance made him a unique kind of movie star in the annals of classic cinema.